Hey, thanks so much for this comment. I don't necessarily disagree with you on your take. That having kids and a lot of kids in itself is not necessarily a bad thing. But mainly the issue can be, when the older children are responsible for the younger ones, 'cause you don't have time, money, or resources to care for them. Very good point. I can't say I disagree with you. I guess I'm thinking more broadly about their lives and their stories. If I get a little controversial, like I feel like parents already have a lot on their plate working to make sure their marriage is all together, trying to go to work to raise income to support the family. There's any extracurricular activities, and then you have all these kids. Like, it gets to a point where you really can't care for these kids the way you want to if you have too many, And even though all the kids seem to think they were very loved and they seem to think that they had a really idyllic upbringing, especially before the TV show, a part of me really wondered, like, how well can their parents truly know them if there's 19 of them, you know? And clearly the parents weren't doing the best job watching those kids either, because we all know that Josh Duggar was touching on other siblings, and CPS had to get called on the family. They couldn't keep track of everybody enough to ensure everybody's safety and security. And I understand that they're a part of a really fundamentalist Christian sect where they believe, children are a blessing. What all Christian sects believe children are a blessing, but these sects specifically, and I'm saying SECTS sects, for the censors, or I guess I should say denominations. Their denomination specifically believes in no birth control, and you should just have as many kids as God wants you to have. And it'd be nice if they could afford it, like you mentioned. I guess as well, I'm thinking to myself that what happens to a woman's body when you don't take the time you need to properly heal between pregnancies? Because that woman, Michelle, she's literally been pregnant for like 20 years straight. I mean, I'm not that well versed in the age differences and stuff, but from what I'm hearing from Jill and Ginger's books, is like, I believe Jill was the one who mainly focused on this. That basically, once she was, when she gave birth, and breastfed the babies and cared for them for like the first 6 months. After that, she's passing it along to an older kid, and then she's focusing on getting pregnant again. And of course, you highlighted the adultification of children and all the responsibilities that are put on their plate. But then I'm also thinking, what about the woman's health? I don't believe we were meant to breed ourselves. I don't even want to say breed because that sounds so gutter. But I just don't think we were meant to impregnate ourselves that often, that quickly, right? I think that human bodies need about 1 to 2 years, yeah, to fully recover from pregnancy, right? I know that's not always possible, right? But I'm also thinking like 19 pregnancies in a row, almost pretty much in a row, because all our kids look like stepladders. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, they made it work. They made it work. But they clearly were stretched thin in terms of time, in terms of resources. If they hadn't had the TV show come around, they would have been welfare queens. And nothing's wrong with being on welfare temporarily to help yourself. But I do think there's an issue when you continue to have more and more kids that you can't support, and then you're leaning more and more on government resources. I think government resources should be a stepping stone to a better place, not a permanent fixture in your life, But yeah, I don't like the idea of people having huge families. That's just me. That's just me. I'm not the biggest fan of like huge families, because then, you know, and I know there's always gonna be people out there who are like, well, you can't tell me what to do. I can have all the kids I want. And you're right. You're right. Have all the kids you want to have. But then these are the same people who want to come and be like, can you babysit my kid? Can you give me money for groceries? Can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? And it's kind of weird when it's like you want to give input, but they don't want it. But then you must give them help, but you must not give them input. It's like, okay, all right, be blessed, you know? I mean, we live in such a different society than before because, you know, most people back in the day, they were having children to work on the farms. They were having children to replace the children that were dying due to disease or ailment or war or whatever. Like, we don't live in that world anymore, right? So I don't think we necessarily need to basically try and repopulate the earth. And the earth is at 8 billion people. I think we have enough. But I'm not anti-natalist. I'm not going to sit here and say, like, people should not have kids. Have kids. But I don't think, like, more than, like, 6 is necessary. I even think 6 is a stretch. But I will allow my imagination to go towards 6. But beyond that, I think it's too much. Like, how do you really make each child feel like they are loved, that they have your attention, that you really care for them, that you know them intimately? How do you really build deep relationships with that many people? I don't know. Those are just my thoughts. Hopefully that's not too horrible to say.